Topic 1, test review. Starting with number 1, I did outline this on the test better. This is part A, this is part B. So they're two separate problems, okay? So on part A, it's talking about line segments. So it's telling you that this right here is 62, and then AC is 3x minus 4, and x minus 2 is CB, okay? What is an equation we can come up with to find the value of x? What do we do? You put them together, right? Because what we're used to is AB plus BC equals AC, right? Even though C's in the middle, it still works the same. AC plus CB equals AB. So this turns into 3x minus 4 plus x minus 2 equal 62. From here, what do I do? How do I solve? What do I do? Combine like terms, so I get 4x minus 6 equals 62. What do I do from here? Yep, add 6. So I get 4x equals 68. Last step. Divide by 4. We get x equals 17. What if the question asked you to find the value of BC? What would you do? What would you do if it wanted you to find the value? Go for it, Toby.
You subtract the, I don't know.
We found x is 17, right? Well, BC equals x minus 2, so what do I plug in?
Oh, you plug that in.
There we go. We plug in 17 into whichever one we need to find. Okay. Part B is talking about angles this time. However, do they work the same as the segments?
Yeah.
They work the exact same, okay? The segment addition is the same thing as the angle addition. So I have two angles here. I don't know what the whole angle is, or do I? Do I know what this whole angle is? What'd you say? Say that one more time.
180.
180, okay? This whole angle is 180. How do I know that? It's a straight line, it's half a circle. Yep, straight line. So we know that is 180 degrees. So what do I know about the two smaller ones compared to the whole thing? Yep, and I'm going to add them together, right? So I get 5y plus 3 plus 2y minus 5 equals 180. From here, what do I do?
Add like terms.
Yep, combine like terms. So we get 7y minus 2 equals 180. From here, add 2. What's my last step going to be? Divide by 7, we get y equals 26. Okay, what if it wanted to know the value of angle DFG? I would plug it in, right? Take 26, plug it in for y. Okay, hint, hint on your test, it might want you to plug it in, not just find x and y. Okay. Questions on those? All right, number 2 is pretty similar. It tells you points A, B, and C are collinear. What does the word collinear mean? All on the same line. So it tells you to draw a picture. Yes, you need to draw a picture. Is my picture going to look like this? No, why not?
That's not a line.
That's not a line, okay? We're not drawing angles here. We're drawing a line. So here's my line with points A, B, and C on it. Okay, it tells me that AB is 7 and BC is what? 11. It wants us to find the value of AC. How do I find that? Add them together. 7 plus 11 equals 18. Okay, biggest thing with that is make sure you draw your picture. Okay. Number 3 and number 4, I'm not going to make you write the formulas. I just did that so that you have them on your review for you. Okay, yes, I will be providing the formulas on the boards tomorrow. Okay, so you just have to apply them to a question that will look similar to this. Okay, so in order to use the midpoint and distance formula, what do you have to do? What should you do first? You have to label. Okay, remember, coordinates are always in the form of x and y. How do I determine x1, x2, y1, y2? How do I determine which is which?
Just goes down the line.
What do you mean by that?
Well,
Which one's like said first?
no, whichever.
I'm going to ask you this. Can I put these two together?
No.
No. Can I put these two together?
Oh, that's what you're talking about.
Right. So now that you understand what I'm talking about, how do I have to label them?
Oh, you gotta go XX, x1 plus x2.
when we do the formula, but this has to be x1,
Oh, yes.
y1.
Yes.
This has to be x2, y2. Why are the ones together? What do those ones stand for?
First one.
First coordinate. What do the 2 stand for?
Second.
Second coordinate. Okay. So to find the midpoint, again, formula's up on the board. What are we adding together?
X, X2.
Adding the x's, taking the average, adding the y's, taking the average. So if I add the x's, we get 2 plus 6 divided by 2. And then I get negative 1 plus 0 divided by 2. What's 2 plus 6? 8. And then negative 1 plus 0, you just get negative 1. Simplify as far as you can. What's 8 divided by 2? 4. Well, what do you do with this? Since it doesn't come out even.
Oh, wait, no. Leave it.
You can leave it or you can turn it into a decimal. I don't care either way. Can this be my answer? No, what's wrong with it?
There's no comma.
It's not written as an ordered pair, okay? Once the midpoint, keyword point, okay, if you circled this as your answer, really that would be 4 minus 1/2 to give you 3.5. Okay, so make sure you write your answers as they need to be, okay? Part B says find the length. What does length mean? Distance. Find the distance from point E to point F. What's the biggest difference other than the square root in the distance formula compared to the midpoint formula? Yep, instead of adding the x's, you are now subtracting the x's and the y's. Okay, so this turns into 2 minus 6 squared plus negative 1 minus 0 squared. And again, I'm just following the formula that's on the board. Okay, and following my labels up here. What do I do first? Subtract first. Yep, subtract both of these. 2 minus 6. Negative 4 squared plus negative 1 minus 0. Negative 1 squared. I had a good question yesterday. They asked if they can put these together before they square.
No.
Can I do that? Why not?
Because, and dots.
Yep, order of operations tells us we have to do the separate exponents first. So what's negative 4 squared? 16. What's negative 1 squared? 1. When you get to this point, should you have any negatives left? No, all negatives should be gone by now. If I add those together, I get 17. Does that come out evenly? No, there's no such thing as a square root of 17. So that can be your answer, or some of you probably put 4.1. I will accept both of those. Okay. Here though, real quick, if you get the answer as a square root of 25, can I leave it like this? No, what is square root of 25? 5. Okay, so if you can simplify, please do. Number 6. Now we're getting into the inductive reasoning with the patterns, okay? So the directions say find the pattern and list the next 2 terms. How do I find a pattern? Kind of counting, right? You're just seeing what's happening between each number. Okay, what's happening from 5 to 11?
6.
Adding 6. Can I assume all of these are adding 6? No. What about 11 to 18? Add 7. 18 to 26? Add 8. What am I going to do for my next term? Add 9 to get 35, and then add 10 to get 45. Okay. To show me what the pattern is, all you have to show me is this part, or you can write it in words. But if you have that, that's good enough. Okay. What I don't want to see is if I have this sequence and you just fill in the blanks like this. Will you get full credit? No, what do you need to show me? The pattern, right? So this one would be what?
1.
Adding 1 every time. Yep. So just as long as I see the pattern, you don't have to explain what's happening in words if you don't want to. Okay? What about part B?
Just every other letter.
It is every other letter, right? So usually the alphabet starts with A, and then B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. What are we skipping? K to get L, skipping M to get N. Again, if you show me this, that's good enough for a pattern, or you can just say skip a letter. Okay, as long as you show me one of those, that's fine. Okay, and then part C, it says correct the mistake of the sequence. What mistake did you find?
They got a dot.
Yep, they forgot a dot right here. That's all you had to do on that one. Okay. Now, the rest of the test is about the writing sentences. Yes, I am have you writing the sentences. Okay? Feel bad for me though, because I have to read all your handwriting.
Yeah, you
Okay.
gotta do
I have
math,
good handwriting.
too.
So make sure, this is what I ask. I know not all of us are blessed with amazing, pretty handwriting. Okay, and that's fine. Okay, I can read it as long as you make it neat. Okay, try to make it neat so I can read it. If it's not legible, am I going to give you full credit? No, I'm going to try my best to read it though. Okay, I haven't had an issue with it before. So on this one, it gives you the original if-then statement. So it wants you to write the converse, inverse, and contrapositive. What does the converse do to the original?
If then.
It just flips it. Toby, what do you have for your converse?
If it's a rectangle, then a figure is square.
Exactly. This is what you should have on that one. If it is a rectangle, then the figure is a square. What do we do for inverse?
Somewhere.
I heard it. Yep, we're going to add not. Kinsey, can you read me your inverse?
If a figure is not a square, then it is not a rectangle.
Correct. And then for the contrapositive, what do we do? You do both, right? Colston, can you read me your contrapositive?
If the figure is not a rectangle, then it's not a square.
Perfect. Okay. Biggest thing with this one that I see, people get it wrong. Where do you always have to go from?
The background one.
Always have to go from the original. So once you write the converse, you're done with the converse, go back to the original, write the inverse. Okay, always, always, always go from the original. Okay, any questions on those? Do these, when you rewrite these from the original, do they have to theoretically make sense?
Nah.
No, they do not have to make sense. However, do they grammatically have to make sense?
Yeah.
Yes, do not sound like 4-year-olds. Okay? Make sure you write in complete sentences, and when you add not in there, sometimes you might have to put maybe does not or is not. Okay? Not just the word not. On number 8 here, it says write the following conditional as a biconditional. What does a biconditional do?
If and only.
Yeah, these are the if and only if statements. With these biconditionals, you have to make sure, this is the only one that has to make sense. Okay, when you write biconditionals, they have to make sense. These are the only ones. Okay, so for this one, what do we normally take out?
Then.
Or what do we take out? We take out then, what else? We also take out if. So we have if and then. We put in if and only if, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Someone read me what they have for one of them. What do you guys have written?
Two lines have the same slope if and only if they're parallel.
Yes, that would work. Did anybody write it the other way? Okay, that would also work. Okay, with definitions, usually both of them work. Okay, in this case, both of these made sense. So that works fine. On the test, it might ask you it might give you the biconditional, and it might ask you to write 2 conditional statements from that. What is a conditional?
Rather.
It's an if-then statement. So if we're given, let me cover up something here real quick. Let's say we're given just this first blue one. Okay, so I'm looking at this one right here. If they gave you that sentence, what is an if-then statement you can get out of that? What's the if-then statement you can make from that?
If 2 lines are on the slope, then wait.
Yep, keep
Then
going.
they are.
Exactly. If 2 lines have the same slope, then they are parallel. Do you agree? We just went back to this. Okay. Where can you get the other one from?
The other way.
What do you mean the other way?
Flip it.
The converse, right? You just flip the P and the Q around. Okay, so if it asks you for 2 conditionals from that biconditional, remember you just go backwards. Okay? Number 9, it says assume the statement is true. So it's assuming this conditional is true. It says if Cameron scores a 75 or greater on his test, he earns a B as his final grade. They tell you that he scores an 81. What can we conclude about his final grade? He earns a B. Remember, with those, is there much thinking going on? No. Okay? It gives you a statement, gives you a scenario. Remember, you use the conclusion or the then statement to get your answer. Okay? Number 10, it says use the law of syllogism to write a new conditional statement. What does the law of syllogism do?
You gotta take out things.
Repeat.
Yep, take out the repetitive. So we're given two conditional statements here. It says if a baby has a fever, then the baby is sick. If a baby is sick, then the baby must be brought to the hospital. What repeats?
If the baby's sick and then the baby's sick.
Correct. Remember, this phrase repeats. So then, usually what you have left is what your if then is. Okay, so our new if then is if a baby has a fever, then the baby must be brought to the hospital. Okay, I'm going to give you another one. You do not have to write this down. Okay, give me 1 second to write it. Okay, I want to talk about this one that I wrote up here real fast. It says, if you have a leash, then you can walk the dog. If the dog is happy, then you have a leash. What is repetitive in these two if-then statements? The leash one, right? So this comes out. Can I just say, if you can walk the dog, then the dog is happy? Sorry, I took out too much. Can I just say, if you can walk the dog, then the dog is happy? It sounds correct, but what is wrong with that? Because what I did is I put if here and I put then here. Why can I not do that?
Because it's just not possible.
What's already in there?
If and then's already there.
If and then is already in there, so don't switch them. Okay, remember, if you have if in the sentence already, that is your if statement for the end. Okay, if the if is in there already, leave it as is. Okay, so you should have if the dog is happy, then you can walk the dog. Okay? Remember, what is the only one out of the 5 that have to make sense when you rewrite it? The by conditional. That's the only one that has to make sense. Okay? The review will not look exact same as the test. Okay, it will look very similar. Okay, some questions will be repeated, but I've also changed and added some. Okay, but I promise you there is no tricks on this. We've talked about everything. Okay, so it's a couple things. We spent a lot of time on truth value. So there will be a couple questions with truth value. What does it mean if I ask you to find the truth value of something?
See if it's true.
To see if it's true or false, right? If it's true, what do you do?
Say it's true.
You just say it's true and you're done. Okay, if it's false, what do you have to do?
Say why.
With what?
Words.
You explain why with a counterexample. Yep, you just give a counterexample to that. Okay, and there will be another question about counterexamples. Okay, but everything that will be on the test tomorrow is something you have seen before, I promise. I don't do any tricks or anything. Okay, you have seen all of this before. Okay, it just might be more application based, all right?